Alright, let's go into, was this part 4? Part 4, the Cataclysm's Quickening. Part 3 was a very slow burn, so I'm hoping part 4, you know, they're ramping it up. It felt like the Fontaine Samsara. I'm not gonna lie. That actually felt like the Fontaine Samsara. Alright, says investigate freely. So I'm probably just talking to people, right?
Look! There are some people talking over there! Let's listen in on the conversation.
Okay.
If you ask me, those pompous parasites on the surface act like they're all a bunch of aristocrats. Do any of them give half a hoot about a bunch of dogs like us?
No, I'm not stopping doing the quest.
Speak for yourself, man.
You're not getting spoiled if you watch me do the whole quest.
Oh, you think you're special or something? If you're here, then you're just a convict like the rest of us. I've heard that even if you're released after serving your sentence, going back to life on the surface ain't any better. Once a criminal, always a criminal. We're marked for life.
You got the pirate fit going on.
I don't buy that.
Hey, how cool would it be if the whole world was destroyed by a giant flood and everyone had to start over from nothing?
What kind of filthy bilgewater are you spewing? I have family up there. You best shut your sewer hole with talk like that.
Damn.
Listen, things ain't so great on the surface, but who says that you have to leave? I've heard that you can still stay here and work even after you've served your sentence. Not bad if you ask me. Who wants to live in the ruddy overworld anyway?
And what makes you think they want to hire someone like you? That's one of the great mysteries of the universe, how someone
This
as
guy is about
useless
to
as
get
you is
smacked.
so confident.
Whoa. Sounds like they're really unhappy about the overworld. Speaking of which, Paimon never heard anyone use the words overworld or underworld when we were living up there. Is it only something the inmates down here say?
I think you're
That's
right.
true.
Does make sense.
Take it easy.
Okay. I love the music down here though, it's so good.
There's a group of people over there. Let's go listen in.
So I said, that's not a faucet. Hey, who are you two? Why'd you come over all of a sudden?
Oh,
Big guy on the
for
case.
eavesdropping. Sounds like you were talking about something private.
What's the matter? They're just looking to join in on our fun, that's all.
This guy sounds like a
Don't
clown.
pretend like it's okay for them to just
Like
interrupt
Shaco.
us like that.
On some like Shaco Joker type beat.
Fine. You're lucky we don't mind extroverts that much.
You hear that, Quisto? What nice!
Your expressions tell me you're looking to hear some juicy info, am I right? But before that, it just so happens that I know you two.
Alright.
Really? Are we that famous?
You're kidding. How often does anyone get a personal tour led by His Grace himself? Practically everyone was talking about it. Word has it that you also caused quite the kerfuffle.
Quite the kerfuffle.
A little mistake, huh? I like the way you put it. You see, people with a good attitude can join our group anytime. Unlike some of the others here.
Bro, he
Yeah,
has like an
right?
Italian accent, I think.
I'm Quisto, and this is Lavaroon. People usually call us the Bombshell Bros, but don't
Bombshell
worry, we're not planting
Bros.
bombs or anything. It's just that our information is always so explosive, and we blow minds on the regular.
So, you two really like to gossip?
No, you don't get it. Knowing intelligence will make things better for you here. For example, knowing who's working with whom, who has the latest rumors, who's not getting along. Wouldn't you like to know all that?
Real.
Whoa, all this info's worth something, you know? You should prove you're worthy of it.
I mean, we are top
don't
dog.
mind him. Quisto's always this way. Just play nice and say something to massage his ego. The welfare meals
you're a
talk
big
about
dog.
the welfare meals.
Get him some eats.
Right. That meal we had yesterday was super delicious. Paimon can still taste it whenever she closes her eyes.
I think Paimon said the wrong line.
Is that so? To tell you the truth, I've been helping out with making those welfare meals.
Oh, okay.
I've been working as a kitchen assistant for about a month and a half now.
He's an assistant.
Oh,
We do a little
so
glaze.
You're the one who made those delicious steaks. Amazing. You could be a professional chef.
You are correct. I am a true professional.
Yeah, I
In
saw
fact,
that.
I even went to culinary school. But enough about that. Since you like my cooking, I guess that means we share similar tastes. Listen carefully. This little bombshell will help you learn what's really going on here in the fortress.
Did Lavaroon just wink at me? It seems he's saying, don't be upset, he's a good fellow.
Listen, kids. The power structure within the fortress is quite complicated. The overworlders couldn't care less about us down here. We're basically dogs to them. You've already met the one person here you should never cross, the
I had a
Duke
peanut butter and jelly
Isley.
sandwich.
He knows
Thought it
more
was
than you
so
think.
good.
And if he
I
doesn't
love
care
PB&J,
about
it's
something,
so
then
good.
he often doesn't bother dealing with it.
I mean, we're homies with
Those who
the
have
Duke.
the Duke's attention get all kinds of special perks, even better treatment in the infirmary.
I know who you mean. It's that Jurier character, right? I don't think there's anything useful about him at all. Why does he visit the infirmary practically every day? Is it normal for anyone to be going in and out of there so often? If you ask me, he's just faking it to get out of work.
But did you know that Churia was a
You're not getting
talented
21
researcher
if you
from
didn't
the
get the previous
Fontaine
ones.
Research Institute before he came here? There's no denying that.
I don't care if he was a researcher that could turn dirt into Mora. Once you're in the fortress of Meripede, you're just another inmate like everybody else.
Damn. Okay, Kustat. Juryu visits the infirmary. Okay.
Speaking of which, the last time I saw him, he was passing by in the corridor with Lorvine. I also
I'm trying to
heard
get
they
out of
started
the
arguing in
jail arc.
library and got into
I'm
a
trying to get
fight,
to the
right?
Arlecchino arc.
Guess that's just how terrible of a guy he is.
You mean he hit a woman? Wow, I never imagined he was that bad.
But that
Damn.
Lorvine's also quite the odd one, you know? She's always gabbing away, got into a fight with a man, and she also got sent to the infirmary. Come to think of it, I always see her going to the sick bay every couple of days, too.
Wait a second. You don't think?
Do you think could it be that they're secretly meeting there to go on dates? But it's really hard to imagine.
These guys are the gossip gophers,
After all,
bruh.
I do remember seeing Lorvine beat Juria to a pulp that one time. And we might be overthinking things.
Okay. Jeru Lovarina. Male. Streamer gems. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Hoyo.
Hey, you over there?
Bavaliers.
Yeah, you.
These
Say,
NPCs
you
have some
like playing
interesting
card
names.
games? You know,
TCG.
Genius Invocation TCG?
You have piqued my interest.
You TCG players are like mint in the wild, literally sprouting up everywhere.
Real. Let me smoke you real quick, though.
Hey, come on now. What's wrong with finding fellow Invocation aficionados? Anyway, care to join me for a game? All right. No pressure.
But why would you be looking for people to play Genius Invocation in a place like this? Don't people...
Whether you're throwing down cards or throwing punches, it's all a competition, isn't it? It's all the same in my eyes. There are lots of card players here in the fortress. When I saw you, I immediately thought, hey, even outsiders from other nations play cards. So I came over to say hi.
Okay.
Sure.
Great! Since you've been here longer than us, you need to flex your seniority a little bit, right? Maybe you could start by telling us newcomers some stories about this place.
I thought you would have already heard everything by now. All right, then. Did you have anything specific in mind? Or do you want me to just pick a topic?
Why don't you pick? We'll let you know if we've heard it already.
All right. Have you heard any strange rumors since you've arrived?
Yep.
Then, did you know that there are some people who are always gossiping over in the corner?
Yep. Kustat and Lavarine.
Yes, you've already met those two. They're quite a pair. They always keep an eye out for the latest happenings and gossip about everything.
They definitely be yapping with it. This the Yap Bros. They said they explosive bros. Nah, they the Yap Bros.
You know how bartenders are, always chatting with customers. And chefs love to pass the time.
There's a Genshin stream event on right now. That's why there's drops.
Good to know. Do you have anything else to tell us?
Let me think. Sounds like you want to hear something a little more tantalizing. Oh, did you know that the Duke was also a convict in the fortress of Meripede before?
Risley was a convict before.
Wait, are you serious?
That's right. The Duke was an inmate just like you and me. Seems he was exiled here for committing some crime. Who knows?
We need to find out what crime that is.
Become the warden, though. To go from an ordinary inmate to becoming the manager of the whole place? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of respect that.
Forbidden Zone.
A Forbidden
Yes.
Zone? Sounds like something that someone just made up. I've never heard of that. Where did you hear about it?
It's just a rumor we've been hearing, but no worries if you've never heard of it. Do you have anything else you can tell us?
This guy seems chill.
Anything else? Not that I can think of, but I'll be sure to tell you anything interesting I hear next time. You'll have to play a game of Genius Invocation with me first, though.
I'll smoke this guy. He doesn't know I'm top
We've talked to just
TCG
about
dog.
everyone, and it's about time for us to go meet Linny.
Okay. This is on. Man, I just want to know what platform this is on. That means it's all the way up, right? So that means this.
According to the card he left us, we
How
should
is
go
it
meet him
below
in the
me?
production zone.
Okay. If it's below me, then it's on this teleporter. Okay. I can work with this. Wait, that goes down. I need up there. Up.
Huh? That look in your eyes. You found something?
A little something.
Hey, this is no time to be modest. Just tell him we found a boatload of information.
Oh, as expected of the legendary duo, you have my full and undivided attention. Huh. I'd have never guessed that myself. The rumors swirling about this place are unreliable after all, and Master Child probably went missing because he found a way out.
True.
He is a harbinger after all. I suppose he's much more resourceful than I initially gave him credit for. Unfortunately, this isn't enough for our final report to Father. We need to find out Master Child's exact whereabouts. Father told me that even though Master Child said he was just coming to Fontaine for a vacation, he actually had some personal reasons.
I told you.
His agenda might
He's
be
looking
linked
for
to
like
his
the abyss and
disappearance.
his master. That's 100%.
His escape route is already flooded, so we'll have to task someone with professional diving skills to chase after him.
Well, when you put it that way, it's obvious that only Fremine would be up to the task.
Bingo! Is he around?
He's working today. Coming here as a group would have attracted too much attention. I'll talk to him about it later.
We need to talk to him now.
No need to thank me. This was always a part of our mission after all. Honestly, I'm far more impressed by you guys managing to collect all this information right under Risley's watchful eyes.
Collecting information has always been our strong point.
Now, let me think. To find out more information, Fremine will have to retrace Master Child's original route. And if he's to do that, he'll have to set out on the next pipe cleaning day at the earliest. That's 6 days from now. And after that, he'll probably take another 2 or 3 days to return.
You can even estimate how long it'll take for him to get back?
We've been working together for a long time. We know each other's capabilities like the backs of our hands. Traveler, what say you to meeting here 9 days from now? We'll be able to pick up Fremine while we're at it, too.
Sure.
Oh, and there's just one last thing we'd like your help with. Though we can just sit back and wait for Fremine's report on Master Child's whereabouts, we still need to make more progress on the investigation of the Forbidden Zone. Fremine's no master of disguise. Lynette's still working on getting intel from the other areas, and I'll need to spend some time helping Fremine prepare for his diving mission. So, you are the only ones we can count on.
Okay.
What do you want us to do? Will it be hard?
Well, I won't call it easy per se, but I think you'll be able to pull it off. Listen carefully. You'll need to find an excuse to get into the infirmary and investigate the room and environs. You've mentioned several sketchy-looking people always meeting at the infirmary earlier, so it probably has something to do with the secret we're hoping to uncover. You've already met the head nurse, so she'll be less suspicious of you. Investigate the internal structure of the infirmary and any active dealings within, and pass those on to me alongside anything else you're able to discover. But also, there's no need to take risks. Don't forget, safety always comes first.
Alright.
No, when it comes to intelligence gathering, I'd never consider you to be an amateur. Didn't you say it yourself? It's always been your strong suit. I'll believe anything as long as it comes from you. So, please prove your prowess to me once again.
All right, then we'll head out as soon as we finish our prep.
Let's go our separate ways for now then. Don't forget, we meet here again in 9 days. Stay safe.
9 days? Surely we do like a time skip.
Hey, stay here for now. Paimon will take a peek. There seem to be several people inside.
I don't know if Paimon is like the least suspicious person to be checking. It's like a flying like light bulb.
It's not impossible.
It's a bit hard to understand them from here. So, why don't we just try to talk to them in person? Let's go as soon as you're ready.
Alright. A large amount of vapor. Huh?
Someone! Please help! He's sick!
Oh, we fake sickness.
Whoa, are you okay?
No.
Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's no need to panic. Take a deep breath before you begin. The traveler started complaining of a stomachache, and then nausea, and then collapsed onto the ground. Paimon doesn't know what to do! Freezing limbs, twitching fingers, and pale complexion? Could it be poison? Let me take a look. Please, lie down over here. Don't worry, I'll get you to the bed safely. Here, hold on to my shoulder and walk slowly. You can do it, Traveler! Don't apologize. You're sick after all. Now, please relax. I'm just going to do a preliminary checkup on you. I see now. My checkup has confirmed that he's not in any mortal danger. That's our worst fear out of the way.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. But I'll continue my diagnosis of the patient now. Please, relax and take a deep breath. Don't
What
sense
is
serious
papillate?
damage to your organs either. Does it hurt when I press here? to my initial checkup, there shouldn't be a problem here. Oh, how strange.
We slump.
What about here? Does this hurt? Oh, I understand. So that's what it is. I think you just ate something that disagreed with you. That's all. Nothing too serious. Outside of a pretty bad stomachache when it decides to act up.
So that's what it is. Thank goodness it's not anything more serious.
And there have been other inmates complaining about the food recently. I'll inform our head chef, Mr. Wolsey, of this problem as soon as possible. Congratulations! The health risk is incredibly low, so you should recover within a couple days. Why don't you take a rest here while I go get some medicine for you? Miss Levine, I'll have to trouble you to help me look after this new patient while I'm gone.
Very well. And she hopped away just like that.
Hello. So how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling amazing. Psych.
His stomach ache's really bad. He was stumbling about the whole way here, so Paimon's really worried.
If Miss Sijuin says it's not a serious problem, then there's no need to worry. She's the best medic we've got down here.
But it also looks like she's the only medic you've got down here.
Well, that's true.
What do you mean, that's true? That's really misrepresenting the situation. Of course I can't speak for the whole fortress, but it's not like everyone imprisoned here is useless, you know? Though they may have committed crimes and gotten locked up here as a result, they still know a thing or two about medicine, and they help Miss Sijuin take care of the sick and injured.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. But did you have to lecture me about it in front of another patient? Aren't you a patient too? Where did all your energy come from?
He's got like the mega nerd voice.
That's correct. Sorry, I got a bit ahead of myself.
Are you two also sick?
We've been sick a while. I come back every once in a while for checkups, and to pick up the medicines Miss Sijuin prescribes for us. That's just the nature of chronic illnesses. As for her, you could say she fancies herself as Miss Sijuin's capable helper because she learned a bit of medical knowledge ages ago.
Please watch your mouth, Mr. Jurier. Don't forget that you are the primary reason I have frequent heart palpitations.
What is a
Don't start arguing
palpitation?
now. Please, keep it civil at least.
I've never heard any of these words. Yo, any medics in chat?
Hey!
Event.
There's no need to fight. Everyone will be released someday, so there's no need to argue over silly things like this.
A suspicious vent.
But...
Release. It's way too early for us to even think about that. And who the heck knows if we'd even be able to continue our previous lives?
Does it not autoplay? I'm trying to drink my water.
Please allow me to end this boring and useless conversation. Oh, and Mr. Jurier, I don't want to see your face here again anytime soon.
And same to you, Miss Lorraine.
Damn, she kicked him out.
Anyway, that was more than enough rest for me, so I'm going to get out of this excessively noisy place. See you later, everyone.
Alright, well, they're definitely not secretly
He
meeting.
just slowly walked off like that?
That's just what he's like. I'm sorry you had to see all of that.
Unless she's like
I'm
Sundari.
Levine, and that's... Well, his name is Jurier, but I hope you'll never have cause to remember his name.
You really can't stand him, huh?
I mean, can you blame me? Look, who would like someone who's as arrogant and obsessed with weird research topics as he is? But there's no need to keep dwelling on him. I'll accompany you two for a while. Miss Seashween should be back soon, and I'm sure
They say
you'll feel better as soon as
Seashween.
you've had some of her medicine.
I like the Seguini though.
No, it's nothing.
I'm back. Did you rest like you promised?
Thank you for getting our medicine, Miss Seashween.
Did you all cooperate with your bed rest? I trust that nobody got up to walk around. Good. Here, this should be 2 days worth of medicine for you. Take 1 pill now, and then continue your bed rest. Miss Levine, I left in a bit of a hurry just now. Do you still remember if we discussed the color of the pill that you should be taking today?
I remember. You said it should be yellow.
Yellow, huh? I understand. These are yours. Please, make sure to go to bed early after taking them tonight. You'll benefit from a good night's sleep.
All right, then I'll also be on my way now. I hope you feel better soon, too.
See ya! I'm going to fill out your medical record now. You're widely known as the Traveler,
Her bag
right?
has like a clock
Just
on it or
want to
something.
double-check a few details, if that's all right with you.
Those two made quite the commotion just now, so why don't we let the traveler rest? Paimon can answer the questions instead.
So his primary symptoms are abdominal pain with secondary symptoms of nausea. Is there anything else?
We slump.
That's it.
We need the slump cure.
All right then.
Is there anything we should know besides to take the meds?
No, his base constitution is quite good, so I'm sure he'll recover quite quickly after taking the medicine. Please make sure to stick to bland or less stimulating foods, and don't stay up too late at night.
Alright.
Paimon will hold the traveler to that for sure. Oh, you're going to take a nap already? Okay then, you get some rest. We've been to lots of places together. He may look a bit under the weather now.
Damn, they like almost the same height.
Super strong.
So you're the best of companions. Well, don't worry, he'll recover soon. You're awake.
How do you feel? You slept for a really long time, but we never left.
Feeling a lot better.
Now you can go back without a worry in the world. Remember to take your meds regularly, and remember bland foods.
Alright.
Thank you, Miss Seashween.
What about the vent? Bang! No? Alright.
Seems like a lot of people have been coming down with an upset stomach lately.
Return to the dormitory. Okay, the dorm is up here.
Squall and Fury.
You really are something. To be able to fall asleep like that and even sleep talk the entire time, you scared Paimon half to death.
Did I say anything I shouldn't have?
No, but you kept mumbling things along the lines of, Pyron, don't take my grilled fish, and put down the Adeptus Temptation now. Paimon talked with Seashween the entire time you were asleep. She seems like she's just a sincere nurse, and Paimon didn't notice anything unusual in
She
the
doesn't
room.
know about the
Are you
vent.
sure we're not going off track with the infirmary? Whoa, you really are super thorough.
Starwell drip. Okay, we walk past Lynette. The 9th day arrives, okay?
Today's the day. Let's go meet up with Linny.
I'll go peep here real quick. Hold up. What is this?
I got
Hanya?
an informant. Looks like the situation
Physical
has changed
hunt.
again.
I got to find out about Hanya. Wait, this is not Hunt, this is Harmony. They are releasing a lot of physical characters. Yo, do I just not know the logos of the game after playing for like, like 6 months? Bro, I thought this was Hunt. And then I see the comment and they said Harmony. Bro, this looks like a like Jue Yi, but like, you know, more booba and more thighs. Damn, okay. I like what I'm seeing.
Hmm? Did you two run into any trouble over the past few days?
Nope.
No, we just worked our shifts according to the schedule. Nothing weird happened.
That's good. That means you didn't raise any suspicions when you infiltrated the infirmary. We've taken a look at the slip you've sent.
Guys, think about
Fernandez
it.
successfully
Lenny's
left the grounds
eyes
via
kind of look like the
pipes 2
abyss.
days ago. And as of last night, Lynette has also infiltrated the infirmary after faking an illness.
Okay.
Wait, why is she getting involved as well?
You already went above and beyond when you scoped out the infirmary. To put it more bluntly, even if we were to view that as something you did in exchange for Fremenet's help, you've already done more than enough. Infiltrating a guarded stronghold is a different kind of job from a one-off investigation. We want to avoid using the same faces over and over and reduce the amount of suspicion that will fall on any given person.
True.
Lynette also felt like you have already taken the first step for us, so she should be the one to finish the job.
So she'll go inside of the vent.
Oh, Paimon hopes everything's going well for her.
Then, let's go check on Lynette before Fremenet returns. If everything went well, then she should be wrapping up her investigation right about now.
Is now really a good time to go over?
According to my observations, Sijuin always spends around half an hour away from the infirmary right before lunch.
True.
Lynette knows this as well, so this should be a good time to meet up with her. Also, I'm her brother, remember? It's only natural for an older brother to care about his younger sister's well-being.
True.
Okay, then let's head over right away.
The wind rises. Lynette should be here right now. Huh.
She's not here.
Strange. Lynette?
She's in the vent.
As expected, Sijuin isn't here, but why isn't Lynette here?
No, Lynette rarely deviates from the plan. We agreed that if she were to make changes on the fly, she'd find a way to let me know.
Lynette, Monkus.
Unless...
Let's see if there are any clues around here. We can look while we wait for her. Who knows? Maybe she'll be back soon.
Okay.
What about the vent?
Quick, follow.
Did we even tell
There are
Lenny
some
about the
books
vent?
here and a few files. They all look like medical records. Advanced nursing? These sure are some interesting books. Who knew Sijuin would be interested in these kinds of things? She even has books on understanding people's motivations and feelings. Is it because she's a Melusine? Or does she have a need to understand her patient's emotional state?
Seems quite normal to me. These are skills that would come in handy for a nurse from time to time.
True. Okay. Books down. Bed.
None of the beds have any signs of having been slept in. Except that one over there.
That's the one Lynette must have used, right? You said she was pretending to be sick.
She would have said her migraine was having a particularly bad flare-up. Generally speaking, the head nurse would then ask her to lie down and rest, while she left to retrieve the medication. Which means, either the head nurse didn't return the entire time from when Lynette laid down up until she left the bed, or the nurse intentionally left it this way.
Spooky. Oh, she's gonna come when we're looking at the vent.
Ah, this is it! We saw it before!
Wait, this thing? It doesn't look like it's been disguised that well. The space behind it is empty. From its size, I don't think it's an entrance that is meant to be taken apart. There's probably a mechanism around here somewhere. Could Lynette have tried to get inside? But if that's the case, she would have contacted me for sure. Let's look around here for some more clues. Don't panic, just take another look.
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper over here!
A slip of paper?
It's right over here, and there's a bunch written on it too. It reads, "Out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper or card
I won't, so
as
just
the
tell me.
medium to pass on my message. You may consider this as me giving you my best regards."
Huh?
This is...
Is that all? The back. This is...
Show me! Now!
What is it?
That look on your face. Paimon's reading it now. Would you care to guess where Miss Lynette of the Fatui could be right now? No. Could she have... Is she already...
Writhsley. Did he deliberately leave the infirmary unguarded to use it as bait?
Risley's behind this?
Wait, you mean he was aware of our goals from the very beginning? But why? We didn't run into any trouble last time, and he also never reached out to us since.
Yes, that is a crucial question. Writhsley, he doesn't do anything without a clear goal or reason. So this means he had no concerns about your activities from the very beginning. You're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulet, so you have no conflict of interest with Writhsley. We're a completely different story, though.
But why did he only go after Lynette?
Too. Why did he only go after her? Don't panic, just think everything over. I have to stay calm. This is not like what happened last time. The situation's different now. Wait, you're right. Wait, but that means... The fact that Fremine was able to leave the grounds, could Writhsley have let him go as well?
But what does he gain by letting Fremine leave like that?
We get it now. He deliberately made them both disappear.
So he's challenging me and trying to provoke me, I'm sure of it. We never should have sent out Fremine. We had to go through all that trouble to find an opening to sneak him around the guards and into the pipe, and we even thought luck was on our side. If Writhsley let him leave on purpose, then he's probably in a terrible spot now as well.
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. We have to calm him down.
Lenny, calm down.
Don't be like this,
Calm
Lenny.
down, man.
Fremine wouldn't have left if we hadn't told you about Child. That was our fault.
No. I'm the leader of this operation, and I'm the one responsible for this team. I was the one who failed to protect them. I'll go talk to Risley.
Hey, don't be reckless! Traveler, please talk some sense into him!
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be abducted again. I have to go. I'll find a way to get them back.
Oh, it's about to ramp up. Lock in. Lock in.
He's rushed out the door! After him!
If you have not been locked in, now is the time. It's about to crank. It's about to crank. Oh, she was here the whole time. Wait, and she's smiling.
I feel like we still have some room to make changes on these details.
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive testing.
Is that so? Very well. Then please be mindful of the time. Huh?
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. They'll probably come in once we stop talking. Please help! He's sick!
Whoa, are you okay?
These two. As expected, they've already found this place. Oh, they are quite sharp. What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people, but I also like playing dumb. I like the feeling of being trusted.
So is she evil or what?
Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's no need to panic. Take a deep breath before you begin. Being able to read human expressions is quite the useful skill.
That's why she had the book on it.
It's
Lenny
no
on the
use
Zoom.
trying to catch up to him.
Surely I can catch him with Yolanda.
He's already out of sight. How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Risley's office.
The entrance to Risley's office was down here, no? Also, I swear these boxes have been like respawning. Wait, is this not where the entrance was? Oh no, it is.
Come out and face me, Risley!
Damn.
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow even a couple rules from the fortress's indoor management regulations?
Damn, they got
What
beef.
did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea. I do have some teas in my collection that can work wonders against such an illness.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my siblings?
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would sometimes enter a box filled with water, only to emerge the next second from another place altogether. Maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to turn your head.
Is he trying to trick me into turning my head? No, he's probably not looking to attack me right now. All of the hostages are in his hands, and he's even in the mood for small talk. That means Lynette is probably still alive. You knew we were investigating the infirmary from the start, so you deliberately aroused the Traveler's suspicions and baited us into continuing our investigation, just so that you'd be able to kidnap Lynette. As for Fremine, no, you probably didn't even interfere with Child's escape. You let him go, so you could purge the Fatui members that we had planted into your ranks.
There was no need to do so. The Fortress of Meripede is a pretty pleasant place. Most people enjoy their lives here. The only ones who act differently are those with personal agendas. It was quite easy to identify your colleagues.
You removed our original members and spread the news of Child's escape so Father would assign our team to come down and investigate. Fremine has also fallen into your hands, right? If you're oh so omnipotent and so in control, why would you need hostages?
One correction. Lynette is in my hands right now, but Fremine is not.
He's not. What do you really want?
Lenny!
Okay, we're here.
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this once. Thank you so much for cooperating with me.
Where are Lynette and Freminette?
Eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette is currently having a cup of the fortress's finest tea.
How come
Although, as
Lynette is
per
not
your
Lene?
original plan, Mr. Freminette should also have returned to the fortress by now. But he has neither shown up within my gates, nor has he been taken into any kind of custody. So where do you think he may be right now?
Wait, you can't mean you locked him outside in the sea?
I closed the fortress's gate to the outside world. That's all.
Freminette's a star diver, so he should be fine, right?
No, we're still here, so he definitely tried to find a way to come back for us. So we can't assume he might have made a break for the surface.
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. My intel tells me that Mr. Linney is a great magician, so it's only natural for me to want to have some cards of my own when it comes to negotiating. Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette that you've always wanted to have a face-to-face meeting with the Lord of the Fortress of Meripede, regardless of whether it was in a personal or a professional capacity. Well, you got your wish.
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even set foot in the fortress.
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or two, that's all. In any case, I will be straight with you. I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so we had a pleasant few days playing games together here. But once you started focusing on the Forbidden Zone, all of that changed. Mr.
The Forbidden Zone.
The cards are stacked against you right now. Miss Lynette is in my hands, and Mr. Freminette is still slowly being pickled out there in the brine. You know just as well as I that he cannot last out there forever. You need do but one thing to guarantee their safety. I would like you to contact your superior, and ideally invite her over for a cup of tea with me.
You want to see Father? But why should she bother giving you an audience?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dearest children, she should have plenty of motivation to join me for a parents' evening. I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like the bonds of family. I don't see why she would refuse.
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no-man's land. It wouldn't be fitting for anyone as important as a harbinger like Father to come here in person.
Oh, I see. So it's because she doesn't care for my place here. That's such a shame. After all, I've amassed quite the tea collection. I was looking forward to sharing it with her. Both Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina have already received many samples as gifts.
Was this the extent of your master plan to get to Father? No matter how much pressure you may put on me, I won't allow you to use us to blackmail her.
You people really are difficult to get along with. All I'm asking for is a face-to-face conversation. Does she truly have no interest in the fortress's secret? Mr. Linney, you have one last chance to invite your father here. If you refuse...
Lenny!
Why do you have to do this?
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see things from my perspective for a second? From the very beginning, the Fatui has been actively infiltrating my fortress. I gave you a warning by cutting off the first few operatives I found, but that only caused you to double down. Had you given up on the fortress then and there, I'd have no reason to want to talk. Mr. Freminette left the fortress on his own, and Miss Lynette tried to pry out my secrets right in front of me. No matter how you look at it, the responsibility for this falls on you.
I shouldn't ask Father to do anything because of us.
6, 5...
Wait,
2, 1. Time's up. It really is a shame, Mr. Linney.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down.
That technically does have to do with
gentlemen.
us, because
It's time
Neuvillette
for my
and
afternoon
Farina.
tea.
Listen to the Traveler! If you can't talk to Lenny, can you at least talk to us?
You do realize that I'm only letting you go because of Neuvillette, yes? You're here helping him out, and I've already done my best to stay out of your way. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. The fortress may be small and remote, but it still has its own set of laws.
How are we trying to save him?
Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some time investigating my home turf by now, so why don't you tell me a thing or two about what you found, I'll ask you 3 questions. Answer all of them correctly, and I'll agree to your request. Question 1. Regarding the hidden rules of the production zone, what is the truth behind the one about not being allowed to work for 3 days in a row?
You can't, you keep working without rest, and then during lunch hour, you get to the meat. Okay. Who will see it if you keep working continuously? How am I supposed to know what these are?
According to Collins, the pancreation... The research notes said that the Fonta's internal reports, we often see Miss Siege... The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize... I've been told that the infirmary is always...
It's got to be Seguin sees you. Okay. Under what circumstances does strange meat appear?
I've been told that the infirmary is all... The Fonta promoter has... We often see Miss Siegewin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. Fonta's internal reports suggest that there's... The research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because... The research
What
notes
do any
said
of
that
these
the
have to do
Melazine
with the
race
strange
perceives
meat?
the world very differently from humans. As a result, Fonta's internal reports suggest we often see Miss...
Is this Seguin again?
Fonta's internal reports the research notes said that the Melazine...
Okay, I got the last one right. Who will see it if you keep working continuously?
We often see Miss Siegewin observe...
It's got to be this one. Okay, and then it appears...
I've been told that the The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. Meanwhile, the
This one. Okay. So it's the other Fonta one. It is not the other Fonta one.
According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place... I've been told that the
It appears when she's gone. Okay.
So that's what's going on. The hidden rule of the production zone. People
Paimon has to think on again, but to why?
And if they do, they'll get strange meat in their welfare meal. At first we thought
Why
this
does she have
strange
the
meat
goofy thing
must
on
have
there?
something to do with the people who disappeared. But in reality, they were all prepared by Siegewin, the head nurse. She often visits the production zone to observe the workers' health and makes a note of anyone who has worn themselves out after 3 full days of work. Out of her sense of duty, as Siegewin has unfortunately...
We know all this information, though. I should be able to skip
Are we
this.
on the right
Not bad. You've uncovered Siegewin's secret and even guessed her intention. All right, now for my next question. There are also some hidden rules in the pen.
Okay. If you violate the rules, you get the drink. Okay? And then the package comes from the company.
The promoter has been struggling because he...
Then it looks the way it does because...
The research notes said...
Because Melazines perceives stuff differently. If you support both fighters, you receive it because they need funding.
According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta company sponsored it.
How are those all wrong? That makes no sense.
According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta company sponsored it.
That should 100% be the last one. Okay, and it should look the way it does because of the melusine.
We often see Miss Sijween. The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value.
Okay, and the tickets.
Fonta's internal reports
The
suggest
tickets has got to be this one. Alright, this makes no sense. Okay.
The Fonta promoter has been struggling because the research notes said that the Melusine race perceives the world very... The Fonta promoter has been struggling.
How is this one not the Fonta promoter? It should look the way it does because of the melusine.
Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting an...
It looks the way it does because they're trialing it. Okay, I guess, I don't know.
Paimon gets this rule, that hidden rule of the pancreation ring is that people get scared.
So this is all information we know.
It's just about a blood. The company they came to the Duke knowing how valuable coupons are and so...
I acknowledge the effort you've put in, although based on your description, that Fonta promoter is a bit too careless with his words. I may just reconsider my collaboration with the company. All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
She's extracting info from them.
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought of
This
sparing
man
Lynette
dashed
and
in.
Bremene never even crossed your mind! You'll pay for this! Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
This man just looked at him while he got like...
Oh, close one. I owe you, Sijween. That was a fantastic shot.
She shot something at him.
Sijween?
Though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional, as I
She just shot this man.
Sijween... You...
Not at all. I am merely a resident of the fortress, and thus protecting it is my duty. When Monsieur Nervulette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take care of the well-being of everyone here. I am merely discharging my duties.
But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Lenny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the rest of us?
But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervulette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. Had I not, they would be in far more dire straits right now. His Grace knows it too, right? Your Grace? Mind proving my innocence to them?
My dear Sijween, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly frustrating sometimes, Your Grace. I figured I should try to talk some sense into you.
What are you talking about? What time?
Take me if you want. But let them go.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your Grace.
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will be arriving any time now. I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sijween, I leave Miss Lynette in your care.
Bro, his hair thing isn't even ears. It's just spiked up hair. Like, it doesn't even look like ears when you see, like, a full 360 of it. A familiar figure burst into... Clorinda! Hello.
Miss Clorinda.
Wokage.
My door.
Fremidae. Fremidae.
Oh, he slumped. He knocked out.
What's going on? What is Clorinda doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off soon. Please take it easy in the meantime, though.
What happened to Fremidae? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like this?
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater.
Oh, he's about to poof.
What did you say?
Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr. Fremine a more thorough checkup. Your Grace, I'll leave the rest to you.
I'll talk to Clorand while you get Fremine to where he needs to be. Everything else can wait.
I did not expect Clorand to be in this quest. Try to understand the situation.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordial seawater. Still, his condition is not critical. Of course, it would be best if he stayed for further observation. Let's leave him here for now, and move him to the infirmary once he's recovered a bit more. Sorry. I am aware that the infirmary may not be your favorite place in the world at the moment. We do only have a single clinic in the fortress, however.
Why would he ingest a large amount of primordial seawater after leaving the fortress? How could that possibly happen?
Please, look after Mr. Fremine for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator. Oh, I'll bring Miss Lynette back with me.
Where is she? How is she right now?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct, she should also be waking up right around now. You might not believe me, but His Grace and I actually made some snacks and tea for her.
Okay.
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sigewinne may have been forced to shoot Mr. Linny again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased significantly. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time, well, you can see how that boy's doing.
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim back.
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved two.
I got
Well,
to
I
get
did try to convince him that I
Clorinda.
had my reasons. Never seems to work.
Those
though.
buttons are holding back
probably work
the
on Nuvette.
primordial
He
seawater.
has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
It's a bad sign if you're having to plead your case to Neuvillette. Want some tea?
This man is
Not
always asking
particularly.
people for tea.
If you want to drink some that badly, just say so.
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made it?
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel? I would like to dry my hair.
They took a great influence from Kafka. She is nothing like Kafka. What are you talking about?
Linny, are you okay?
Also,
I'll be
she was
fine.
probably designed before
They're all
Kafka.
here now.
if you
Don't
think about
worry
it.
About me.
Are you sure? You don't look all right.
My hands and feet are still a bit weak, but that's probably just the residual effects of the tranquilizer shot.
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh, Traveler, Paimon, you're here too. Fremine?
Electric big booba woman
he-
with button-up shirt.
He'll
That
be
does not
fine.
relate to
But for
Kafka
now,
and
please
Clorinda. They
help
are
me
like
lift
two
him up.
completely different characters. Man is about to be dead.
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
Give me a hand and help me get him to the infirmary.
Yeah, I'll take him from this side. Lynette, together?
On it.
Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. Want to come with us?
No.
The Duke and Clorinde are gone.
They went upstairs.
They
No?
probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit. Miss Cloran will need a break.
Are they actually
Said she only
drinking
just
tea?
returned
What
from
is this
rescuing
tea,
Fremine out
like,
of the sea.
this tea metaphor this guy keeps making? This man's been asking everyone if they want tea. What is the tea? Wait, they're still up here. Hello.
Could I tempt you with some sugar for your tea?
No need.
Wait, there's actually tea right there. Oh my god. Wait, is it just because she has heels, or is she that much taller than Yolanda? Wait, it might be the hat. No, it's got to be just the heels. Okay, but Yolanda also has heels. Are her heels just that crazy then? You think his arms are bigger than Ito's? This is important information.
And the crowd goes!
Bro, I swear he was like super buff in the trailer, no? I think he does have it. He definitely has bigger arms, no? Look. He definitely has bigger arms. Look at that. Look. Ito's got like this, and then Rizley's got like that. You know? But Rizley's also like got like a full jacket on. But he's got like the scars and everything, you know? We're gonna take a picture for proof. Look. I feel like he does. I'm taking a picture like Darwin. What about having like a group meeting with them? Oh my god, hey, they're at.
There's still a long...
Either you were looking at the wrong thing. I know he got it like that, but you know, look behind you, my man. Alright. What do I have here, Kazuman?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. True. Now, I love the surprise, you know, Clorinch, okay? But I'm trying to see some Arlecchino. I saw the art that you sent. Also, we haven't seen Navia at all during this quest, no? I'm surprised no Navia. Is the infirmary not on the floor that I'm on? No, it definitely is. Why would Navia be in the prison? No, like at the start of the quest. We didn't see her at all. Not in the prison, like out of the prison.
He's awake. Fremine, how do you feel?
Lyney... Lynette...
We're all here.
Where am I?
The infirmary at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr. Fremine. And you are no longer in any danger. How do you feel? Don't push yourself if you're not feeling up to it.
Traveler, Paimon, it's been so long. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Oh, he's not.
Shh, it's okay. We can talk about it after you've recovered.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater. I don't know why it's there, but no one should touch it.
What happened after you snuck into the pipes? Surely you saw a child.
The pipes. It's all coming back to me now.
The pipes. Cutscene? I did see Hanya looking.
I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. It looks abandoned.
What is this?
Where could Master Child be?
Little platformer going on. Oh, I'm playing as him. Damn, okay. This is how we meet Child. Any hidden chest? I feel like they don't hide chests inside of quests anymore. Oh, bro, I thought they gave him the bell again. I was like, stop it. Alright, sure there's no combat, though. I am not trying to fight nothing with a royal greatsword. This sword is some cheats.
This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Wait, it's literally like the depths down there. Yo! Okay, I'm GG. And then I think it would let you fall. Alright, let's just keep it moving. The void called to me. The void called to me. I had to take a little plunge. Okay. Oh, it's coming up. SW, you can send whatever you like.
It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it.
Avoid the obstacles.
Hip.
What obstacle? What are we talking about? What? What is the obstacle? The ropes? Maybe it's the ropes. Okay, now it should be good, no? Coming on up. Okay, okay.
This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look as well.
Clueless. Fremy was very clueless. He doesn't put his helmet on? How is he diving without the diving helmet? That's why he had all the seawater. I thought he was like a professional diver.
The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should... there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What the... My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on?
Those seawater.
No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it.
Damn. Return to shore. So I can't go through here? Oh, I am dying. Okay, I'm dead. I'm dead.
I can't die here. This is bad. I'm feeling worse and worse, and I'm still underwater. I have to push on.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone. But there was also no obvious place for him to have disappeared to.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going. I probably passed out some time after that, and you know the rest.
Miss Clarinde brought you back, but we also don't know why she just
Why didn't they
suddenly
show
appeared at the
Clarinde
fortress,
saving him?
or why she went out to save you.
Miss Clarinde, you say? I must go thank her in person.
You're still too weak for Monet.
Where's
You
like
can
the
go
Clarinde
after
like
you've had
CPR
some
scene?
more rest.
Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarinde will stay here as a guest for another few days, so there's no need to hurry.
A guest? Then I can assume Risley was the one who invited her to come down here?
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than me. Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on.
Dude, Sieglinde is like so happy-go-lucky cutesy.
No, please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave. Both of you are just in danger.
Understood. Then let's just sit together for a while.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now. As long as you stay in here, I don't think you'll be disturbed.
Thank you.
Okay. Why did I get mail again? Ah. Itty bitty octo baby. Now, these are anniversary rewards. Sheesh. Anyone absolutely stoked for these new Genshin Impact anniversary rewards? No way. Where else can you get the itty baby octo baby? Come on. Come on.
Excuse me.
I take it Mr. Fremenet's condition has stabilized?
Of course. I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Siegewien?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just take a few minutes.
A physical exam.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me. I'll take my leave for now, then.
Well, want
She
to
must
explain
check out the
yourself,
power
Riley?
level of the booba button. It is holding
course,
back
but I'm not
the
partial
whole
to the word
city.
choice of explain. How about enlighten? Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can start with whichever one you'd like to get answered the most.
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you?
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremenet has told you already, the ratio of primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the rise.
This is when
The
Nouvellette
Forbidden
and
Zone has
Farina
always
comes in.
been Lenny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Now, why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates. That's all.
Oh, right. Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Cloran down here?
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work.
Oh, it's a
As a
paid
champion
commission.
duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
I
And
see.
saving Fremenet was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already.
Now, what is this Forbidden
That's not
Zone?
something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts.
But he's in the Forbidden
All
Zone.
I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremenet.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you answer our last question in return?
You make a compelling case. Do you really want to know the answer that badly?
Yes.
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know.
Even if the truth may not be pleasant?
Yes.
Follow me.
Man said follow him, and he just ninja vanished. Oh, a secret staircase. Classic.
There's a hidden door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is.
Now what is this?
Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special. What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence the name, Forbidden. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Nah, we could keep chill.
Paimon wasn't thinking of keeping anything from them.
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding whether or not to tell them.
Alright. So, is it about to crank or what? I thought it was going to crank earlier, but the best thing has been Clorinda.
Huh. So there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
I'm not gonna lie, part 3 could have been less sleeper for how much still build up there is in part 4.
Go on, have a look.
I feel like part 3 could have been like an hour.
I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate
What
ever
is
since I assumed
this?
leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original
That's
position.
gotta be the primordial
Likely
water.
because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking?
The pressure.
Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary.
It's neither of
the
those.
temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
I knew it.
Concentration of primordial seawater? But we're already under the sea!
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising. Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all.
And if it's leaking, the gate falls, all the Fontaine will fall with
Yeah,
it.
you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the Primordial Sea? Who built this place anyway?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here. When the previous Hydro Archon, Egeria, ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You may go guard my secret, deep underneath the waves." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the overworld. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some
chair
idle
is so
position and let their
squeaky.
withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the
I just
past.
pressed the wrong button.
After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
So he made his way up to Warden to find out about this.
Just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved into the sea. To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third.
So as the Duke of Meripede, what do you plan to do about it?
Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiments have...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul about any of this?
We different than a single
skeptical
soul.
as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The
This
results
nerd dude,
speak for
right?
themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute.
Edwin.
He used to work under Edwin.
That's one letter
I
off of
trust that you've
Aaron.
heard of Edwin.
Aaron Smith. Ed who?
He's the one who blew the whole institute sky high. Everyone knew he was
Aaron
a bit
Smith.
crooked in the head, but you're not a local, so I guess it's possible for you not to have heard of him.
Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up The Fortress of Meripede?
Ah, what a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
He about to blow up the whole thing and
Gotta
act like he
admit,
don't know
I'm
nobody.
tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical
He
consultants.
really about to blow up
While Jurier used to
and
be
act
Edwin's
like he
assistant,
don't
she
know
used to be Jurier's
nobody.
assistant.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
She was acting super soon later,
Your Grace,
earlier.
I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
This guy's voice, though.
Forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Wait a.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
This is the place.
Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Is this just a normal room? No.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What is that?
What a huge ship? This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's going on?
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty.
Lemurian dynasty.
According to legend, the Lemurian king
Okay,
Rhys
this ship
came to this
looks
land
sick.
after being inspired
This
by
is
divine
literally
revelation,
Bioshock and Ratchet
and
Clank.
found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the
The
surging
Fortuna,
waves.
we've heard that name before.
He called his nation Lemuria, and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe
But did the leader of Remarian have no enemies?
To a point.
That is the real question.
As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials,
Did
and
he
technology
have no
at my disposal.
enemies?
Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontainians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster.
This is a plan for the ages.
Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator,
I'm so
I've
confused.
never
Is
met
this
such a
ship
reckless
underwater or is it like that?
All right,
It
that's
just
enough
looks like
talking
that.
for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to
Oh no,
soothe
it's
my
not.
throat.
It looked
Do
like
you
it was
have any other
underwater,
questions?
like through the mirror.
Seems
or
like
the
you're good.
glass.
Come on, I'll take you back.
Okay.
I'll leave you here for now.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
Well, obviously we can't choose if we can tell them or not. So, I'm interested on if we are going to tell them or not. I'm trying to see Arlecchino, so maybe we gotta tell him.
We're back!
Done with y'all.
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
I was about to say that.
Actually, now that you mention it, I just remembered something now. While I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me. They were discussing everything, from the leaves, to the water, and even the teacups themselves.
Must have been Risley and Sejuin.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so it should have been the two of them. They really were just talking about brewing tea.
I really can't make sense of this place.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn anything from Wriothesley?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations?
He's feeling better now.
Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sigewinne is also busy with something or other. So let's just talk here.
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3 questions. Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is probably very close to the fortress of Meripede.
Okay.
Ooh, he's good. He got that right on the first try.
That one's not that hard, though.
That's Arlecchino.
Secondly, Wriothesley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first, then suddenly roadblocked us. Why?
The Forbidden Zone.
I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because he was hoping we could find Master Child for him.
Damn, right on the spot.
What's more, the Fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Iudex Nervulet. Wriothesley is basically the king of a no-man's land.
True.
As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the two factions are pitted against each other, Wriothesley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret
Lenny
of the
is
infirmary,
2-5 head.
I just can't
How's he
think
know all
of what
this?
it could be.
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. Then finally, there's the last question. If Wriothesley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. He's even gotten Cloran to help him out.
Why did I say
that can't be the full
Cloran?
extent of what he's doing.
How does an
There's probably
IND
a
make
secret
an and?
passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has a bargaining chip, and it could be important enough for Father to deal with him directly. I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be. But let me guess. You have the last piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe it.
The sea will engulf everyone. Just like the prophecy said.
Could Wriothesley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis?
Potentially.
If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis. But how could Wriothesley have known that?
Or perhaps he didn't know and just wanted to bring Father over to his side?
Do you
Which
learn
could
about
be why he said
Arlecchino
he
at all
just wanted
from
to
Lenny's story
negotiate.
quest? Or is it just about the House of Hearth?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to pass this on to our father. No matter what, we're on your side. The two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here right now if not for you. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth at any time. Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as family now.
Okay.
You have
La
my
Familia.
gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Lenny when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us. We didn't think you were going to do it.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Given your strength, you might not need our help at all. But if you are ever in danger, we will try our best to protect you.
Aww, the sound of that makes Paimon feel all warm and safe inside. Paimon's hungry.
Oh, you've done so much already. Go get some food.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys another time.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Cafeteria. That's the floor that's above this floor, right? Okay, wait, farther above. This one then? It is this one.
Behold!
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals now being served in the coupon cafeteria.
The prison broadcast.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well.
Traveler and Paimon, over here.
Are you here for dinner too, Miss Sijween?
And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's dinner as well.
She's still down here?
You're right. She's actually sitting in the fortress cafeteria.
What would you like to eat?
We can choose?
Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Then I'll have the tastiest stuff you have to offer. The biggest portion. We need the tastiest.
Don't forget Paimon.
We need the tastiest.
No problem. Just leave it to me.
The shakes are horrible.
So
Interesting.
delicious.
Free dinners are the
Is
best.
this how it feels to be freeloaders? Wait a second, we did do plenty of work after all.
We definitely not freeloading.
Feeling full yet? How's the food?
Delicious.
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression on your face just now? The muscle here just moved, which suggests that you're feeling quite relaxed at the moment.
Sijween, do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human beings?
A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a Melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you.
You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older sister.
Really? You're reminded of an older sister? That's great to hear.
Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Linny and his siblings as well?
Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the water. Thankfully, Cloran is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Cloran left, to make sure that Linny wouldn't impulsively chase after his brother. Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door once Miss Cloran had returned. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linny as well. We had to press him, but
Damn,
we
they had
couldn't
to
allow
press
him to
him?
be in any real danger.
You were all super considerate and really thought everything through.
It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least this has been His Grace's style for as long as he's been the leader. Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervulette would come down here more often too. I feel like he'd like it here, with all the darkness and chaos. Get a good night's rest, you two. You both worked very hard.
Quit following me.
Okay. This one is this teleporter. Yes.
Squall of Fury.
Yeah, I thought I'd see more Neuvillette too. Since like Neuvillette's on banner. But I guess we've seen him last Archon Quest a lot.
So much has happened. Paimon just feels absolutely exhausted now that she's finally relaxed. Paimon's super sleepy. Are you sleepy too?
I'm also getting there. Snoring is crazy.
Delicious. Paimon wants seconds for free.
Couldn't Paimon like sleep like floating?
Out of my way! Get out of my way!
Crowd.
What happened? Why is everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
Oh, it's okay. It's actually about to crank now. It is literally about to go crazy mode right now. This is where it goes crazy. This has got to be. The crowd yelling. What's going on out there? What's going on out there?
What happened? Why is everyone running around?
Is he gonna blow up the facility?
What are you doing?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye.
Hey, wait!
He's about to bomb the Master Hill. No shot.
What's wrong with these people? They won't even talk to us.
They're here! Yeah, there you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Laveroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong just now. His Grace is telling everyone to evacuate and get out of here.
Oh yeah, he's about to bomb
Laveroon
it.
was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed, yet you only find out once you do a head count that 1 or 2 people are missing.
True.
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it suddenly my idea?
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us.
Did he sound like a scuffed like Luigi Waluigi?
Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible.
Like he sounds like he'd be like Zuluigi. I don't know why. He gives me like a. His voice is funny.
Oh, wait, what? What? Hey, where are you going?
We have to go find the Duke. You two just go and get out. Go on without us.
Hey, hey! Be careful!
Attention. Please evacuate upwards and outwards. Upwards and outwards.
Monka,
Already at the top of
we
the
must
stairs,
escape.
then try to move as far outwards as possible.
He's about to blow it up. He's about to blow it up. We're going to the Forbidden Zone. Oh!
They're here.
Just like I said. You're just in time. But be ready to run.
He's got the fist. That's gonna all be primordial water, no? Five? Sheesh. Damn, he's kind of crazy though. Oh, it's gonna burst through. Damn, he's kind of schmoovin' though.
3, 2, 1.
Damn! Okay! Okay! The Risley movement.
Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense.
He's so hot and for what?
The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends
Look at
on
them.
us.
How are both of them so hot?
Neuvillette, why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina, and make sure she doesn't spend too much time alone with her. Will do. You have my sincerest gratitude.
Okay. So is he gonna stop the water while we're at the Opera House? No way, there's gonna be two crazy events going on at the same time? I love how the music changes from like the crazy intense music to the Opera House music.
Look, there are a ton of Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there. The knave is probably here already. We need to hurry.
Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Neuvillette has left instructions. Please follow me. Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could protect Lady Farina to the best of your abilities.
Hydro Archon needs our protection?
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Of course, of course. How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler.
Oh my
I have heard much of your
god.
accomplishments. I am the knave, one of the 11 Fatui harbingers.
Pleasure to meet you too.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the time. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 16 slices sold every day. Here, why don't you and Paimon have a taste?
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
Bro, did Child go by Tartaglia until we got his banner? I think his banner is called Tartaglia banner, isn't it? It's quite tasty.
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Farina and I.
You know, we dabble in a little bit of eats.
I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly
Maybe it's
gone
just a
missing.
personality difference then.
I'm really worried about his safety, you know. Here's to hoping that he's an excellent swimmer.
I have faith in his abilities.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really looked certainly pretty impressive, yeah.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Neuvillette right in front of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my admiration for Monsieur Neuvillette. Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier, as you well know.
Well, why do we have to wait so long for her to come out, man? This is bait.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. child is still alive.
Oh. And just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Mirapede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
The Fortress of Mirapede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely?
We do not.
Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes
More
back
time
to
to
his
save.
family?
True.
Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it something like that?
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how it's written or how it's worded. Huh?
Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Farina.
Huh? I don't quite understand what you're trying to say.
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
He's gonna pull out the hydrococca.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
The big hydro dragon. He's gotta stop the water. Oh my god, he's about to hit him with the Biden blast.
A day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day. This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe.
He reversoed it.
This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
Only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal
Bro, Corinne's
codices.
EN voice is like a super close to like
obviously a
Raiden's, I feel like.
Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business
'Cause of, like,
to
the
attend to in
personality.
the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
She's like French Raiden.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui
But with the
Harbinger.
booba button. Instead of the booba sword, she has the booba button. What if she has the booba gun? The triple combo. Wait. I may
must
be onto
say,
something.
We've spent long enough playing house. Miss Farina, as the Hydro Archon,
Wait, her
I am
thing is
sure
lit up
you
in the
understand
back.
the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originally thought. But looking at your expression, was I wrong? And you haven't a clue?
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontainian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable? The prophecy's
She
hanging
heated
above our
up the
necks
tea
like a
with her
guillotine.
pyrovision.
Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures.
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
She's doing such a good job, though. Her VA?
And I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high.
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time. It is just that beings like yourselves are unable to perceive them as of yet.
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of those?
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Farina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Farina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please, help yourselves, everyone.
He definitely handled it by himself.
Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard deserve gratitude and praise. You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you up on that offer.
Paimon definitely would take up an offer.
Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was great.
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality. Yes, and we must thank the knave for bringing these over as well.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to
I'm
be
surprised
featured
this
at Miss
quest
Farina's
hasn't gone
table.
anywhere in the
And
new
I was
area.
merely
Like, not
catering
even
to Miss
close.
Farina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters that I need to take care of, so I must take my leave now.
Very well. We'll end it here.
The whole thing's in the
Mind
new
seeing me
area?
off, traveler.
No, it's
we
not.
could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
Are we underground in the new area?
Paimon's coming too.
Aren't we just under the Opera Epiclese? Oh, it is in the new area. Bro, I thought we were underground this thing. Wait, where are we then? Oh, we're right here. I see. We were underground the whole time. So I thought we were like, I thought we were just under the Opera Epiclese the whole time. I was like, what? Wait, where'd Arlecchino go? Wait, can we talk to Farina again?
The tea party turned out to be even more difficult than I'd imagined. Why are you looking at me like that? Is something the matter? If there's nothing urgent, then I shall be retiring for now.
Uh-huh. She's telling me I can't get a pick for the gram in the same seat? Crazy. Alright, important discussion meeting. Important discussion meeting. I wanted to get a picture of Arlecchino, but she left. No. Wait, we're literally just in the room to the right. Yo, my Octo Bubble guy, he be kind of just chilling though. Low key, my Cloud Retainer pet though be doing more movement. More movement schmovement. Like what he doing? He kind of just sleeping. Sleeping in his bubble.
I'm glad that you were willing to
Anniversary
come with
pet, they
me.
just gave it
Of course,
in the mail.
child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
Wait.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude.
I didn't think that's what you wanted to talk about.
Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important.
Dude, she looks so good in game.
You should know that I care
I did not think her model looked this good in game.
That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them, especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Farina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move
like the
around
X in her
most
eyes
easily.
is so.
Allow me to share my perspective with you.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of Meripede.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Farina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Oh? Come over here, you little critter,
Oh my g- Hello. So this is like gonna be a skin that comes out with the Arlecchino, obviously. Obviously, it's a skin coming out with Arlecchino. You know, like a double deal. You know, you wish on Arlecchino banner, and then like you get this skin. Surely.
You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Farina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy, it's actually making me a bit suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed.
Oh my
just
god.
As I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
She's under a curse.
What are you trying to do? Please don't kill me! I'm begging you, please!
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Farina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after,
So she
my
knew it was her.
confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Farina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she even bring herself to eat her cake. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps
Not
Eudex
the
Neuvillette
true
is
Hydro
actually the
Archon.
genuine article. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden in a place that's hard for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the fortress of Meripede. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Ridesley.
I'm afraid so.
That's up, Calx.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a Harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Eudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation of
She actually
Farina
calls him
and Eudex
Tartaglia right there.
Neuvillette. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the fortress of Meripede will be a front. Lenny and his group will be responsible for the actual intelligence gathering. You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Farina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Eudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, that doesn't seem right to me either. I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Eudex Neuvillette or Farina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon. Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god
That
of
is
the land
interesting.
of
She
my
thinks
birth.
neither of them are the
Don't
Archon.
you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together
Neuvillette's right here.
someday. He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
Her in-game model doesn't look that great. Are you talking about Arlecchino? She looks amazing.
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the Primordial Sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's trying to feel her out, though I'm still unsure as to her motives. Permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? But that's just a speculation on our part, though. You can't tell us?
No, he's the Hydro Dragon.
That's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you. You guys in Fontaine
Yeah,
are
her
super
hair does look like a dove.
If by the phrase "you guys,"
And the thing holding her hair looks like her
then
her harbinger,
sure
like
sigil
or whatever, or
I
icon.
must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics.
Did you manage to protect those? What did you sense?
I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Oh, it's raining now.
Why is it raining all of a sudden?
Novelette. We don't know that he makes it rain yet? Come on now.
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking?
The Dragon Sovereign of Water.
The Dragon of... what? Huh?
Please don't be so surprised.
Oh, Farina's also here.
Farina?
Novelette, are you listening?
Ah, my apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the Dragon Sovereign of Water, right? Well, if you don't want to confirm or
Obviously he is. Paimon is so dumb.
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret.
Now, Paimon is federal.
There's still something Paimon
She
wants
fed.
to ask you, though.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the Dragon Sovereign of Water, and you were able to force back the Primordial Sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
There are 7 elemental Archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you are welcome to discuss them with me at a later time.
Alright, that's for like the lower Larrys.
There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the Fortress of Meripede? Paimon is a little worried.
The fortress again? We were just in there for like
Take
4
care.
hours. Like 8 hours. Mad hours. No way we're going back. Okay, where's that place at? What do you mean it's in a quest? Who is in a quest with what? Inexpert company? Didn't they do that thing where you can turn off the quest? How do I do that? How do I turn off this quest? What is this?
point.
I do not care. Oh my god. Is this long? I do not care. They're ruining my immersion. They're ruining my immersion, man. Why is my Archon quest able to get interrupted this late into it? How are any of these people even able to interrupt my Archon quest? There we go.
You guys are back?
Yep.
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
Huh? No, not at all.
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as legendary jailbreakers, but now you're telling me you just never left?
Nah, we definitely left.
We're sorry, but we just had some business to take care of.
All right. There's no need to get caught up in the details. We're just relieved to see you. He was super worried about you, you know.
Hey, it wasn't just me. Weren't you super worried as well?
Something like that, yeah. I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots. Are those two all right? Do you think they made it out alive? Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back with drinks in hand, enjoying the love.
Why are they New Yorkers? That's what I was saying. Tell me they don't sound Italian.
Is there? I mean, considering how they always
aren't they supposed to be French?
All my gossip.
They sound like they. Bro, I was saying that earlier.
I'll be watching you to make sure you finish every last bite.
But they sound like they could be plumbers working with Mario and Luigi. Like actually. Those sound Hellborn. But I swear their voice, I like something about their voice. I think that's it.
Seedwing! Traveler, Paimon, you're back! Are you still doing alright? Did either of you get hurt? We're fine, but what about you guys? It was such a huge mess. How bad was it? A few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur Nervulette paid us a visit. It was all thanks to him that we managed to suppress the crisis for the time being. Of course, we must also thank you for the help you provided. How did Nervulette
I wonder what her
know that he
pouch
was
thing
needed
means.
here?
Because it has like a little like reader on it,
Monsieur
and it seems
Nervulette
like it can
has
move
strong
this.
resonance with the
It has like a
hydro
heart,
element.
and then it has
When
like
the
a
water
heart that's
level
like broken.
rises, he can feel the waves produced.
And I'm pretty sure this moves.
I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a word. I'm so relieved to see that you're both all right. If you're not too pressed for time, please stay with us a few more days. Just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meals prepared. Oh, and please feel free to visit the infirmary for a break at any time. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know. They're so memorable, and I've missed them immensely while you were gone.
Okay. Interesting. Am I not supposed to be in here? It literally says it's in here. Ah, I see where it's at.
earlier. Miss Sijwin told me you still haven't eaten.
Yeah, I was working on something, so I forgot.
That's no excuse for... Huh? It's you two.
Lurvine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently. How have you been?
And you?
They gave this guy like the perfect nerd voice.
Passageway from the infirmary
Like
to
it's
work on
like
the camp?
it's like 100%.
That is still top secret, though. So don't say a word to anyone.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route over the one from the Duke's office.
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh yeah? Then why are you also here so much?
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship, aren't you?
Not at all!
Aha. Okay. This one is here.
The wind rises. Search for it.
I've been getting a lot of mail today. I've been getting a lot of mail today.
Now guess, what suit will this next card be?
A bare-teethed cat?
Well, well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Hello, everyone.
Looks like you're recovering nicely from an A.
Mm-hmm. Thanks
Bro,
to
he
everyone's
does have an
support.
eye under this. How's he even see?
Right. I managed to work up the courage to thank Miss Clorand in person.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing. It was as if saving a life wasn't a big deal to her at all.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we met the knave.
True.
You met Father? Did she say anything to you?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand. And also that she's looking forward to working with us in the future.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. That's fantastic. You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything in her power to help those she considers close, which now might also include you.
Mm-hmm. Father is very capable, and also trustworthy.
Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Lenny was a bit too proud as well. She said that you should learn how to
I was
rely
about to
on
say
others
that.
sometimes.
Got it.
That does sound like something that Father would say.
Hey!
Are you going to stay here for the next few days?
Looks like
Everyone's saying the next few days.
Excellent. I will host a tea party.
For real? Then Paimon wants another serving of cake.
Another implies that you were already served some delicious cake while you were up there. Well, next time, you're going to have tea and snacks with us.
Alright. I could get behind that. I could get behind that.
We should start preparing that tea party.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm all for it.
I'll help you set it up.
Arlecchino is so mommy. It's so hard that she became a daddy.
Take it easy.
Interesting take there. She had to dominate both fields, you know? I can see it.
Behold!
The entrance is farther down.
The wind rises.
Zoom zoom.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come back after making it to the surface? Some strange winds blowing of late.
We wanted
We
to
just
see how
checking
the
out.
fortress is doing. Is everything still all right?
We're fine for the most part. Neuvillette came down and took care of the worst of it.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere.
True.
He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sigewinne's gift with him, though.
Oh yeah, we don't know about how him and the
Miss Cloran has left as well.
Melusine thinks.
She also
I was
took
trying to
her
think what
gift
they're
from
called.
Miss
The
Sigewinne.
Melusine, that's what it is.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Cloran received lipstick instead.
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Well, it's Neuvillette's own fault for making Sigewinne worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still pretty fond of picking out beauty products for the ladies. Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Some gifts for
Are
us.
these from Sigewinne too?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell until your term is up.
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
Is food still covered?
You may access the cafeteria for free. Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Okay, this is on this floor. I see it now. It lights it up. And then you have it.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners, though, so it really doesn't feel the same. Being free sure feels pretty special now.
Okay. Paimon, is there something you'd like to say?
Huh? How did you know? Hey, that's not true! All right. Okay, Paimon just wanted to say that we really are an amazing duo after all. It's like we've now gone to so many places together and become friends with so many people. We've never stopped traveling or stopped meeting new friends. There are so many bad things in the world, and we're just two people, but we've still been solving problems no matter where we go. Isn't that pretty cool?
We are the best adventurers ever.
You're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here?
Being a guide counts too.
Let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward. Just the thoughts making Paimon giddy. Paimon's gonna crash, so you sleep soon too. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside our cell. The primordial seawater nearly rose up. That was so scary. We should be safe now, right?
We should be chilling.
All right then. Good night to you, traveler.
It's not over yet. Where's Child at? What is that? Is that a Pokemon? Dude, I thought that was Rayquaza for a second. Oh, I got a Hydro Traveler constellation. No way. That's gonna make my Hydro Traveler busted.